Hello and welcome back. My name is Travis with Tech Stimulus, and today I want to discuss all of the hype around the new iPhone 15. So let's jump right into it. We all know that the iPhone 15's release is right around the corner, and typically what Apple will do is they will announce the new iPhone, and then about 10 days later, they release the phone. Now, we haven't had an announcement yet, but I'm sure it's coming. We can easily expect this same pattern to continue since this is nothing out of the ordinary, so long story short, expect to have the new iPhone 15 around September of this year. Now, to me, all iPhones do look similar in design, and I mean, they should. It's a brand within itself, but what more could you do with the design of another iPhone? So obviously not too much more. When looking at the design of these leaks, it's very hard to see a difference, but up closely, you'll notice that we are getting the curved look back. In another leak, you can see that the new 15 will keep that dynamic island, which is a cool feature from the iPhone 14. So the biggest rumor that I've seen about the iPhone 15 all over the internet thus far has got to be the Lightning port being dropped for a USB-C port. If you'd like to learn more about what Apple's doing about the whole charging port controversy and what Apple thinks about the whole EU legislation being passed, it's kind of forcing Apple's hand, check out the video that I have linked at the top. I'm also going to link it in the description below. I made a whole video on the USB-C thing and the EU legislation, and it's possible that we could even see something that's not USB-C. Now let's check out the camera for the new iPhone 15. Now this is probably one of my favorite features about the new phone. It's rumored that this 15 is going to have a periscope camera, finally. So this is something that Android users are used to having. They've had it for quite some time. This is something that iPhone users have been dying to have. You pair this with their already amazing camera at 48 megapixels, it's going to be a game changer for Apple. So this periscope feature is going to allow for a mechanical zoom. It's going to be a great feature for longer range photography. It's going to likely keep that 48 megapixel camera that the 14 Pro had, but it's going to have upgraded lenses, and it's going to have a sensor size of 1 inch to 1.5 inches. As for the display, we can expect the same 6.1 inch OLED panel that's going to be for the standard iPhone 15. And then for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, we can expect that 6.7 inch OLED panel. When it comes to brightness, if the iPhone 14 wasn't bright enough at 2000 nits, Apple is actually upping the brightness this year. It's going to be 2500 nits for the iPhone 15. Just at 2000 nits, you eliminate that issue of not being able to see your screen when you're outside on a very sunny day, or you're at the beach trying to look at your phone screen. 2000 nits was enough, but Apple is upping that to 2500 nits. This is actually going to be the brightest screen we've ever seen on a phone. For the rest of the specs, it's rumored that the iPhone 15 Pro will have the new A17 chip in it. The standard iPhone 15 is going to actually have an upgraded version of the A16 chip. Now, we obviously don't have any benchmarks for this new A17 chip yet. We can easily assume that it's going to be faster than that A16 model, but it has been rumored that this chip is going to improve the efficiency of the phone by 35% overall. So we're going to see improved battery life by quite a bit here without actually sacrificing any performance. Now, the RAM for the new iPhone 15's rumored to have been bumped up from the iPhone 14's 6 gigabytes of RAM to a new whopping 8 gigabytes of RAM. This new A17 chip, coupled with more RAM, should bring a snappier user experience. It should allow for smoother processing during demanding app usage, as well as a smoother process while you're multitasking. Now, another big rumor that you may or may not have heard is Apple's been talking about releasing an iPhone 15 Ultra. At this point, it's very unclear of what that could be, if they plan to include that in their current lineup, or if they release it in place of the Pro Max. Either way, there's been a lot of talk about an Ultra coming out. Now, we really aren't sure of what all of this speculation can bring in terms of price tag, but we can't expect history to repeat itself. The iPhone 14 started out for the standard model around $800 USD, and it went all the way up to $1,600 USD for the most spec'd out Pro Max model. So I kind of expect to see that again with a bit of a price hike. So with all speculation aside, it's still very early on and anything could happen between now and September. For all we know, we could see no 15 this year. It would be a first, but anything can happen. I'm sure more will unfold between now and then with Apple, between now and September, especially with this iPhone charging port debacle going on. So just stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to release more content on this. I'm sure that a lot more is to come out. All right, guys, that's all the news that I have on the upcoming iPhone 15. Thank you for watching. And as always, if you did find this video to be helpful, interesting, or valuable in any way, please support the channel with a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.